UNC backed us up last night. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't a little shaky at times, but the UNC baseball team backed us up last night, knocked off LSU, advanced out of the regional that they were hosting in Chapel Hill, giving the ACC 5 teams that hosted regionals. All 5 of those teams advance out of the regionals to the super regionals, going a combined 15-1.
Let's go.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the ACC to talk their talk. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the individual schools that advance to the super regionals to talk their talk. It is time for the ACC to stand on business. Results. And if you think I'm going to miss up an opportunity for the ACC to stand on business on this show, you're darn crazy. First of all, let's hear from UNC baseball coach Scott Forbes on the big win for UNC.
I mean, that's what it was supposed to be about. I told our guys this morning, this is why you come to UNC. You know, to play a game like this, an elimination game, championship game, winner take all for a regional championship. But I did remind them we were at home, and you know, I feel like we had some of that Bosch magic tonight, and a lot of that was our crowd. I don't know if I've been here a long time. When AMAG got that hit, that might be the loudest I've ever heard Boshemer Stadium, and that's just something that really makes me smile. But the thing that makes me smile the most is the look on these guys' faces. It's a special group, so I'm most proud of our team finding a way to win this regional.
Finding a way, they did. No help, by the way, from the selection committees, the seeding committees, from the NCAA that put LSU in their regional at Chapel Hill, which UNC was the 4th highest ranked team in the country. LSU is way too good to be put into that regional. Put them in Greenville against the 16th seeded ECU Pirates. How many times are they, meaning the powers that be across multiple different sports, going to stack the deck against the Atlantic Coast Conference only for the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC, to continue to overachieve against expectations, to continue to overcome any obstacle put in their way? All basketball season, what did we talk about? Why are the net rankings so low on the ACC? Why is no one giving respect to the ACC? Why is Joe Lunardi saying as few as 2 teams from the ACC could make the NCAA tournament? Why, during the football season, do we watch all of these conferences that the ACC has winning records against as a conference put 7-8 teams in the top 25? Meanwhile, the ACC is lucky to have 3. Why, when it comes to bowls, does the ACC win an overwhelmingly higher number than would be expected based on their rankings? Why, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, does the ACC, more so than any other conference, routinely win beyond their seeding? And why does baseball get treated the way they're treated, only to see the ACC continue to win, continue to overachieve? I think it's because we're not giving them credit. And by we, I mean the selection committees. It seems like almost even when they are given credit, right? 5 ACC teams were given regionals to host. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's like, they are respected. Well, why is there an SEC team in every region that
Every
the
single
ACC hosted? 5 regions. There's an SEC team in all of them. Almost as if the selection committee was like, all right, I guess we got to put him in there, but watch what we can do. But we'll show them. We'll throw a real baseball conference team in each of their regions. Well, now those SEC teams are sitting at home because you sent them into ACC country. And I know Duke went down to an SEC program and they didn't make it out. But guess what? Duke should have been hosting too if the disrespect didn't start. They're an ACC champion. They won the conference with all these super regional participants. Does the ACC need a better publicist? Does the ACC have enemies somewhere with power that is holding them back as much as they can up until the games can be settled on the court, on the field, on the diamond? Does the ACC need ESPN to step up and have their back as a media partner? Do they need to say, hey, we've got to deal with you. We need you in those quiet rooms that make decisions to be standing up for us? Does the ACC need to be more selfish and less fair? Because the ACC oftentimes is represented on selection committees, and I'm going, what, did you just be quiet during the portion where you put everybody above them? Right? Maybe you were doing the little league parent who's the coach and is actually way harder on their child than anyone else's to make it obvious that there's no coaching preference. So we're sending ACC representatives to selection committees, and they're the most critical of the ACC.
That team stinks.
trying to prove that they're not showing favoritism.
That team doesn't belong. Get them out of here.
Meanwhile, the SEC and the Big Ten are like the worst of the worst parents. Their kids like playing shortstop, batting third, no matter how good they are. They're out there going, nah, Kentucky's the best thing I've ever seen on a baseball field. Really? No, you guys don't understand. LSU needs to go to Chapel Hill because they're the premier event. And it's wait a second. Maybe the ACC just needs to get more selfish. Because I'm not going to stop doing this, what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to stop advocating for the ACC when it's so obvious. And they continue to prove it with results, right? The best way to find out who's the best baseball team, play baseball. They got 5 going to the Super Regional. The best way to find out who's the best basketball team, play basketball. They advance in the NCAA tournament further than other conferences every year, regardless of how many teams they get in the tournament or what their seeding is. So I'm not going to stop, but I wish I could. Right? I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish that one time the ACC got the benefit of the doubt rather than, if they're equal, we'll give it to the SEC. Well, all things being equal, the Big Ten's more difficult competition. Why? What makes that true? The results on the playing field, the results on the scorebook don't. And even if you find the one-off year, right, because there's people that can turn stats into anything, go with the biggest sample size you can find. Look at a decade of results, right? Look at the ones that the flukes will be washed out. The ACC is good at sports.
They're great at it.
It's sometimes that simple, and it's why in conference realignment, and it's why I'm always worried when the Florida States or the Clemsons tried to upend things because I'm going, that's not good. I saw someone ask if NC State had the best year. Because they're obviously in the Super Regional. They had 2 Final Four teams. They had a top 25 final ranking football squad. They have a quality cross-country program. They even have a 2-time champion cheese chaser. If NC State had the best athletics year of any team in the country this year. Now, I'm not going to go through and look, well, actually, Stanford's water polo team. I'm not going to go through all of that. But what I am going to say is, I guarantee whoever asked that question didn't come from an SEC or in a Big Ten school.
Right?
It's a fair question. The ACC, did they have the best year amongst college sports for any conference? It's a fair question. And I'm not talking about just count national champions. I'm talking about top to bottom when you get to the postseason and the scores count. Right, when there's elimination games, who top to bottom played the best? Now imagine what that might look like if all the teams that deserve to be in the postseason actually were. If Wake Forest and Pitt and these other schools weren't in the NIT. If Duke got to host a regional. If there was a legitimate chance of Florida State making the college football playoff as an undefeated Power 5 champion.
Yeah.
The disrespect doesn't end with any one team. It doesn't end with any one sport. It is unanimous, and I don't get it, and I don't like it, and I just want the ACC to get their credit.